have a seat in Swastikasana. I laid out a blanket on my mat just because of, you know, kind of the work we're going to be doing. So if you want to do that once we are finished oming, it's kind of nice. So as you sit, take a moment as you look forward to descend the flesh of the buttock down. Feel the weight of the legs surrender downward as well. So take that beginning time to undo. But to undo really means not to do. So that means let the body become still. Consciously feel where the tension lies from the day. And calmly from within, surrender that. So begin to find that you can incorporate that stillness at the beginning of your class or at the beginning of your practice. Lift through the crown of the head. In turn, release the shoulders down and away from the ears. Breathe into the side body. And then bring the palms together and close the eyes. Feel the touch of the palm against the opposite palm. And as the hands come together there, feel that sense of the center of you, deep within. And how that region is held steady and steadfast. So that from there, you can build that expansion outward towards the side body. Join me for the sound of Om. Release the head down towards the center chest. And completely surrender there. Release the hands with the palms up. Bring the head up with closed eyes. And softly then, open the eyes. We're going to start with Supta Virasana. So get a bolster or two. If Supta Virasana is not a pleasing pose for your body, then please go ahead and still get the support of the bolster, but you can take Supta Swastikasana instead with the legs crossed at the center shin bones. Okay, so it's your choice. Make sure you have a pillow for your head. In both cases, come to sitting. So if you're coming into Supta Virasana, start by sitting on the front edge of the bolster, even though we'll move forward up there. But begin in that way so that as you look forward again, you can bring that release of the back body down so that, you know, if we start too quickly, oftentimes there remains a tension in the body, right, that causes this low back kidney band region to hug in. I want you to feel that that learns to surrender and to lengthen here. Feel as well how the front ribs move towards the back ribs. so that the back waist is long. Shoulders again, surrendering away from the ears. Again, if you want to sit in swastikasana, you do that in front of the bolster. Now go ahead and bring the buttock forward so that you sit between the ankles. Lengthen the buttock towards the back of the knees. Lie the body back. Keep the buttock for a moment, lengthen to the back of the knees. Feel how that can help the chest lift. Then slowly, steadily descend the front thigh bones straight down, as if someone were putting a little bit of weight there in your front thighs. Now, especially if you tend to get that grip in the low back here, it's quite useful to reach the arms up, pull the arms up so the shoulder blades have width between them. Hold your elbows and pull the arms overhead. Do that in order to catch the thick back ribs and draw them away from your lower back. And then look to create that extension as the front thighs once again surrender downward. Neck, jaw, and tongue relaxed. Breathe in and out through the nose. Allow the eyes to close. And look to turn towards the rhythm of the breath. Think of the chest region as working to broaden, not so much lift. Even the sternum surrenders towards the back body slightly here, helping to create the width in the space between the shoulder blades. And the neck then can give you access into the side ribs. Change the crossing of the forearms. Surrender and release through the abdomen. Soften and relax through the mouth and the jaw. And you can release the arms to the sides. Keep looking to lengthen the front thigh towards the front knee. Spread through the mounds of the foot so that the outer ankle firms in. Last little bit here. Come on. Place the hands by the sides of the hips. Inhale, lift the chest, come all the way up. Bring the big toes together. In fact, turn around so you can face your bolster. Bring the big toes together and the knees wide. But now pull that bolster up on top of your thighs so that it's at the top frontal thighs. Press down, lift the abdomen up and come forward over your bolster and rest the forehead on your arms. Yogi Mudrasana in Virasana or Adho Mukha Virasana. And observe how the support of the bolster can enhance the release and the width that may have come into that, the release of the grip, pardon me, that may have come into the lower back. Then use the hands to press the bolster away, and with your inhale, come on up. So place the bolster back on the mat. Keep the blanket there for your head. Supta Baddha Konasana. So get a couple more blankets for your legs. Get a strap. And we're going to take that full pose there. Same story, when you come in, please lengthen the low back, buttock away from the low back, and support the legs then to where it is comforting for you to release the legs to the sides and down. Once you get into this position, once you get into the pose, couple things. I want you to make sure that there's not a huge gap in your lower thoracic lumbar spine region. There should not be. The bolster should fill into the bottom back ribs at least. But once you're there, use your hands to lift your hips and kind of push the buttock away, and then push the outer groin away so that you feel the upper, I don't know, that upper little top part of your thigh is clearly turned out all the way up at the very top part of the femur bone. And then, of course, catch that region with the blankets. Once you're there, you can hold the elbows and give some length into the side body. Again, so that you can move those thick back ribs. Change the crossing of the arms. Feel how, as you stay here, that the work is in the undoing, is in the letting go further and more to any sort of tension in the skin, in the muscles, even into the ligaments and tendons. Feel that those areas have a sense of ease. And then release the arms out to the sides. Feel how the abdomen and all corners of the abdomen can begin to soften and let go, and notice the process of that, meaning observe what is easy to let go and what maybe resists. You might even find that part of the back body holds you up on one side more than the other. Just that moment of awareness and surrender is advantageous. It's significant. Don't take it as a throwaway moment or just a happenstance. Rather, that is sort of part of those many breakthroughs that you can have in your practice. Sort of like that thing, there are no insignificant moments. Now, to come up, you can come up one of two ways. If you want to wiggle your feet free and roll onto your side, that's fine. Or if you want, you can place your hands by your sides. A little bit behind the hips is where I always work. Press the floor away and inhale, bring yourself up. Then remove that strap and straighten the legs. Push out through the knees, push out through the heels and spread the heels against the earth so that you build that lift of the kneecaps so that the legs feel restored. Then just set your blankets aside. Keep your strap, keep your bolster, and then we're going to add in a second bolster or add in 2 blankets. We're going to take cross bolsters. So one goes wide in the center of the mat. The other one is kind of like halfway on there, kind of like a T. Then from there, go ahead and use your strap. Now, if you are someone who has a tendency to get pain in your lower back when you do back bending work, I understand. You'll get through that and that will change in time. But if that is the case, take a couple blocks and stick them down towards the end of your mat, because you can use those for your heels to sort of mitigate that grip. However, it also has to do with how you come into the pose. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So you want to take a strap now and make a loop. And the loop should be about hips distance. And I'm going to say put that loop tonight around the metatarsals, so kind of around your feet, right, like that. Okay, so that you look out there at your feet and you go, okay, good, my feet are hips distance. But the way to help your back adjust and find length, especially in poses like this, is you work this way. So when I lie back, I'm going to bring my buttock way forward on that bolster that I've got long against my spine. And I put my back in traction. I put my elbows down and I really work to get length out of my lower back so that the head comes down, the shoulders roll back. They don't exactly touch down. Your shoulders will kind of hover there. Now, this stage is critical. When you get here, it's so tempting to go, oh, she said straighten the legs. Bam, legs are straight. Wow, pain in my back. Mistake. Instead, stay here for a moment so that you connect to the inner heel bones down, the flesh of the buttock moving towards the back of the knees, the resulting release of the abdomen back towards the spine. This part of the abdomen below your navel, above the pubis, should move back, not because you've gripped it, but because you've moved the buttock out of your lower back and you're pressing your inner heels. Then you breathe into the side ribs, the chest has a sense of width, and then when the back feels all fine and good, you push out through the heels so you don't let the body tip in the direction of your feet. You press out through the heels, you'll feel a little firming or a gathering of the outer gluteals to the midline. Then spread through the mounds of the foot and keep the chest broad, neck soft. And then you've got cross bolsters. So in other words, you do that work up front to make the lumbar spine long and smooth and even, so that when you get into this pose, it's not terrorized. Relax the base of the neck and the jaw, the root of the tongue. Breathe into the side body and observe how, because of this new asana that you've placed yourself in, sort of like you've opened the windows in a room in the house that you don't go into very often. And you get this nice, cool, fresh breeze that can circulate not just through that room, but that you can feel through the entire house. Feel how that circulation can bring in the fragrance from the fresh outdoors. So it should be a sweet fragrance, not a scary fragrance, right? There should be a sweetness to it. And if there isn't, then there might be something a little askew going on, or you might need a little bit of height under the heels, or you might need to awaken your legs so that that outer gluteal region stays stable, because that's what takes the tailbone in and creates a sense of safety there. Observe how the inhale creates space in the areas that are subject to effort. And the exhale allows the areas that are already releasing to release further and more. Last little bit here. Keep the legs straight and awake, right? That little strap around your feet should help the mounds of the foot broaden, should help the outer ankles and outer legs firm in towards the bones. And I think you'll find that when the legs are more and more stable, you'll gain the freedom in the spine and in the back body more readily. Now, we're going to transition from here. So go on and bend your knees. Put your feet flat and pause. Now just a little bit. Push with your heels. Rock yourself just a tiny bit through the shoulders so that your shoulders make it clearly onto the ground. So it's a whole different sort of balance now. Then from there, you reach the right arm overhead a little bit. Turn yourself onto the right hand side. Oh, looking for my glasses and they're on my face. Then use your left hand to press the floor away and come up to sitting. All right, everybody. Good. So now we're going to take Viparita Dandasana. So that's chair back bend. So listen, keep one of your bolsters and a couple blankets. Make some room so you can put your feet against a wall and get your chair up. And once you get your chair up, please put a brick or two by the wall so that they're there for your heels. And you can have a mat on your chair if you want. You can have a mat and a blanket there if that makes it more comfortable. In fact, maybe I'll go ahead and do that because why not? Let's make it comfortable. Right? And soft is sometimes nice for comfort, right? And then I think most of you know, the bolster should be long ways. Put a blanket or two on top of the bolster, depending on what you need. If you know that only one is right for your body, and that's fine. If you're not sure, put two. You can remove one. You're going to step into the chair very, very carefully. I think everybody on screen here has a chair. If you don't have a chair, then you could like cross the legs and bend forward or something like that. Or you could take downward dog. That would be fine. So from here, you take that strap and put it around your thighs. Upper thigh bone. Make it snug. Okay. So the same story, keep in mind the way we lied back over the bolsters in cross bolsters, we made that traction in the low back. That should always happen here, coming into chair back bend as well. So hook the buttock, lift the chest, arc and lie back, but get that traction. You can bring your arms underneath and hold the back legs of the chair. Bring your feet up onto those blocks and make sure you don't go beyond your bolster, which I'm about to. Right. So that you can straighten your legs and spread the mounds of the foot against the wall. Let the head rest. It should rest pretty well to the crown of the head. Keep the legs awake. So we have that strap to help the outer leg firm to the bone, but that should be a help. It shouldn't be what does it, right? Your legs have to do that. You push through the heels, you spread the mounds of the foot, and that outer leg then should be able to awaken and firm to the bone. When you hold the back legs of the chair, your forearms will kind of touch the front legs of the chair, right? Use both contacts. So not only do you hold the back legs, but the forearms press out slightly to help create a width in your upper chest. Relax the neck and the jaw and be there. So feel that the touch of the foot against the wall and against the bricks is an aid to maintain the alertness of your legs. Keep looking for what's new in the pose for you today. It's a pose that many of you have done many, many times. But each time you approach any pose, find out what's new about it. Try and practice it as if it is something new to you. Otherwise, we tend to, just because of our human nature, we tend to do things the same way. And it's like, well, why do we do that? Because we think we know. We do it one way and we go, that's how I was told that one time, and that's how it is. And that is not ever going to be correct, because things change, because you change, because there is no one right way. You can use that information and add on to it. Keep the jaw soft, the space behind the eyes welcoming. And go and release the arms. Place the feet on the ground. Feel your inner heel bones press down. Then with your elbows on the seat of the chair, hands on the backrest, slide yourself back a little. So your buttock is more likely to be on the seat of the chair when you inhale and press the elbows down and lift the chest up. Come back up to sitting. Go on, release your strap. Very carefully, come on out of your chair. So now I'm going to give you a couple options. Now is time for Shirshasana. So headstand. You can do regular headstand, free balance. You can be against a wall. You can use wall ropes if you have them. If you're not going upside down today, I try and always give those alternatives. Today, if you're not going upside down, the alternative would be to use your chair. And you would use it in this way. You see how I'm throwing blankets on the back of my chair like that? Because for me, that chair's kind of short-ish. I'm just a little bit taller. And I want the chair to come to the top of my thighs. So I take my feet a little wider and I take Uttanasana over the chair like so. And then that's an alternative. I don't know if you can hear me. Then that's an alternative for Shirshasana in this case. So you'll be here. Now that said, that doesn't mean your legs just like flop and hang there. You got to spread through the mounds of the foot. You want to firm the outer legs in, just like we've been doing in these back bends, so the inner legs lift up. That's what keeps the tailbone in and the legs secure. The rest of you, you go ahead into your headstand, or you join me here. And in this Uttanasana, the interesting thing is, I'm going to lift my head because I don't know if you can hear me. I can barely hear me. The interesting thing is just like in Shirshasana, right? When you put your forearms down for Shirshasana and you turn your upper arm bones out, there's a width in the upper shoulder blades. That area should widen. And the same is true here in this particular Uttanasana. When you hold the front legs of the chair, the elbows widen, the arms turn out, and it creates a width in your upper shoulder blades again, even with the crown of the head down. So in all cases, look for that. Keep the legs awake in all cases. So that the buttock flows in the direction of the heels and the tailbone is in. Last little bit here. Keep the outer wrist pressing down, center forearm down so that the shoulders are lifted and broad. With an exhale, begin to release the legs down so that the buttock flows to the heels. And as a result, the abdomen draws back towards the spine, giving you a sense of control and stability. Then if you've been in Shirshasana, rest in child's pose for a moment. Place the hands under your shoulders, push the floor away, and with an inhale, come on up. Good. All right, so for those of you that were upside down, your next pose is chair shoulder stand. So I would recommend doing that close to a wall so that your heels touch a wall. And then you'll come on back with your shoulders on some blankets. If you're not, can I talk tonight? If you're not going upside down, then you're going to follow me and you're going to take Upavishta Konasana. Okay? So otherwise, chair shoulder stand. Or get a bolster, come back to your mat. Okay? So let's see. Those of you who are not going upside down, be here with me and take Upavishta Konasana. In fact, don't do that yet. You know what? Take Swastikasana first, because it's a nice transition. So the buttock flows to the back of the knees, then the back groin broadens. Like we did earlier in that Supta Virasana or Adho Mukha Virasana, take the blanket into your abdomen and come forward and let your forehead rest on your arms. Otherwise, you guys know chair shoulder stand. I'll just let you go on in there. Otherwise, you're with me. Okay, in we go. By the way, shoulder standers there, when you hold the back legs of the chair, experiment with the arms again in the way that I suggested before. For one thing, you want to walk your hands down as low on that back leg of the chair as you can. Yes, the upper arm turns out, but there's also a width between the upper arms, and using the front legs of the chair can be educational in that width. Okay, so play around with that. Shoulder standers, heels against the wall, press the heels up, then spread through the mounds of the foot. You're in Swastikasana, lift up and change sides. Those of you in Swastikasana, push the bolster away, come up. Those of you that are in shoulder stand, take Baddha Konasana with your feet against the backrest. Now, those of you that are working with me, you're going to go wide with your legs for Upavishta now. Buttock to the heels, then spread the mounds of the foot. Bring the bolster in close. Then press the bolster down so the abdomen lengthens forward, and let your head rest on your forearms. You can also turn the head to the side, actually, too. Those of you in Upavishta, push the bolster away and come on up. Those of you in shoulder stand, you can slowly begin to come down and rest with your hips on the bolster where your shoulders are now. Keep your legs on the seat of the chair. Those of you in Upavishta, take the bolster to the right, long ways against your right leg. Lift the abdomen up and come forward, out over on the right side. Head can turn to the right. Those of you coming out of shoulder stand, just come out and rest there for a few moments. And if you're in Upavishta, come up. Now, those of you who have come out of shoulder stand, you're going to roll to your right. Come up and set yourself up like you're going to do regular shoulder stand, but your blanket edge is going to face your chair. And we're going to take the legs up and over the chair for supported halasana. So that means you're going to want a little support on the seat of your chair as well. Okay? The seat of the chair should begin right over your shoulders. Right? So you might even use your hands to pull the chair in and the arms turn out. It's supported halasana. Okay? Those of you that were just at the side with me in Upavishta, you're going to the other side. So take your bolster to the left. Inhale up and over with your exhale. Turn the head to the left. So when you're setting up for that halasana, keep in mind, your legs are going to go through the back rest of the chair. You might want some blankets there to catch your thighs, but your feet can go down lower than your thighs are supported, and that's fine. That's actually good. Okay? So just get the support under your thighs above the knees there. Turn your upper arms out and work to lengthen the side body. Good. If you're in Upavishta Konasana with me, press the bolster away, come up, set the bolster aside. Baddha Konasana, legs hold your inner knees, bring the feet together, buttock towards the heels, and just sit upright. Good. Now, those of you in Halasana, you just stay and work to surrender. Those of you working in alternative work, then you come with me if you're not upside down. For Janu Shirshasana, you'll draw the left leg back and put the bolster horizontal out over the right leg. Lift up, and with your exhale, come out over that right leg and let your head rest on your forearms. Once you come into that supported Halasana, everyone else, ensure that you work your way up to the very top of your shoulder head. The weight should not be on your shoulder blades. Do not turn your head from side to side, but rather you just keep it straight, even, so it's looking up towards the back of the chair. Bring the arms out and let them rest at about shoulder height. They don't pull up over your shoulders. That would not be good. And then surrender and let go. More and more, surrender the weight of the legs into the chair. If you're in Janu Shirshasana, inhale and come on up and change sides. Now, if you're in Janu Shirshasana with me, use the hands to press the floor away and come on up. If you're in Halasana, stay for a moment. If you've been with me in these forward bends, straighten both legs for Paschimottanasana and put the bolster on both shin bones. Inhale, and with your exhale, come forward. Now, those of you in that supported halasana, take your time. Have like a minute. It's not a big rush. But within the next minute, slowly roll yourself down with control. And then you'll slide back so the shoulders come off the edge of the blankets, just like you might after shoulders. And if you're in Paschimottanasana with me, you push the bolster away and you inhale and come out. Now, those of you that just came out of Halasana, go ahead and roll onto your right hand side. We're all going to take Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. So the way we'll do today is like this. So have a bolster or 2 blankets folded in half. Actually, well, I think a bolster is okay. And have a brick and have a strap. So let's see. Usually when I do this variation, I use 2 blankets, but the bolster should work fine. So if you've got the bolster, you can use that. If you've got 2 blankets, you can use that. You're going to take the strap and make a loop and place that loop around your big toes. So you don't want your big toes to be super wide because, you know, that's the inner edge of your foot. You hook them like that, right? So that your big toes are hooked and stable. And that way you take your feet, your heels, hips distance. So it's a smaller loop than what you might think is why I say that. Mine was too big too. So then what you'll do from here, that's going to just keep your legs kind of working for Setu Bandha. The brick is going to be on tall probably for everybody because you have so much height under your shoulders, it accommodates a tall brick for most people. So what I'm going to do is lie my shoulders over the bolster, shoulders on the bolster, head on the ground. I walk my feet in without losing that strap, lift my hips and put the brick or the blick under my tailbone and turn the arm bones out and then wait. So I bear weight on my inner heels, but I wait. I'm patient so that that inner heel pressure moves the buttock to the back of the knees, draws the tailbone in and offers space in the low back. You breathe a little bit. And then when it feels like it's time for you, you push out through the heels and tailbone in, you spread mounds of the foot wide. And Setu Bandha in this way. Of course, you want your arm bones turned out, so don't forget that. But come on in now. Keep the outer edges of your legs stable, and that includes that outer gluteal region. So the tailbone remains in. The sides of the body maintain width. The front body should be in contact, in conversation with the back body. Neck soft, jaw, eyes soft. And bend the knees, place the feet flat on the floor. You just kind of lose that little strap as you do that. Bear weight in your inner heels. Take a moment there. Just kind of bear some weight, get a little bit of lift off the block, just a little. Right? Then heels down, tailbone lifts. Remove the brick. Lengthen the buttock away from you as you slowly send the buttock all the way back down. Then roll to the side, come up. Viparita Karani. So take your bolster to a wall, fold your mat in half twice. Place that bolster there. You could possibly even put a blanket on top of the bolster and legs go up the wall. If you're not inverting like me today, then you're going to do Supta Padangusthasana 2 with me. So I'm going to use a bolster by my right side first. Make a loop in the strap for handles. We're going to have handles. We're going to lie back and do that while the rest of you do Viparita Karani. Okay. So as you're ready, you come on into your pose. So in all cases, once the legs are up, push up through the heels, roll the outer groin towards the wall, and then spread the mound of the big toe to the mound of the small toe. So the mounds of the foot ascend slightly higher than the heel. The arms turn out, those of you in Viparita Karani. And then if you're with me, you go ahead and take that leg out to the right. Now, those of you in Viparita Karani, you've been there a little bit of time. Take the legs wide, like Upa Vishtakonasana. Buttock flows to the heels, but then mounds of the foot spread from big toe to small toe. Those of you on the right side with me, inhale, lift that leg back up and change sides. Open the left leg out to the left. So observe how when you work the mound of the foot just a little, it will bring that firmness into the outer legs so that there's stability and support even in the spaciousness. Now those of you in Viparita Karani with the legs wide, you can touch the outer thighs. It'll give you a little support. And then bring the feet together, Baddha Konasana. And everybody bring the legs back up to center. Be at the center now. Those of you doing Supta Padangusthasana, we're going back to the right hand side. Those of you in Viparita Karani, just be there for a moment. And then you're going to do what you just did one more time. So with the outer groins moving towards the wall, take the two legs wide like Upavishta. Buttock bones, right buttock to right heel, left buttock to left heel, then spread the mounds of the foot. Supta Padangusthasana people, change sides. Viparita Karani people, Baddha Konasana. And then everybody legs back up. Then gently bend the knees and slide yourself back so the hips come to the ground. Everybody then let the legs rest in Swastikasana on top of the bolster. Change the crossing of your legs. And then either now slide yourself all the way out away from the wall so that you can lie flat on your back for Shavasana. Or just go right back to your mat that you had set up previously. And lie yourself flat. If it feels as though it would be comforting for you to put that bolster behind your legs or on top of your thighs, you go ahead and do that. And then close your eyes and begin to surrender inward. Soften the skin across the face and the eyes, the jaw and the tongue. The breath in and out through the nose. Observe the smoothness of the breath in and out through the throat. Observe the coolness of the air moving in, and the warmth of the air moving out. And for just a few moments, and you consider that coolness of the inhale as being like a tonic to your mind, to your body, to your senses, to the emotions and the nervous system. Breathe in the cleanness of that tonic. And as you exhale, consider that warmth that leaves the body as being any sort of unnecessary holding onto that maybe you have. We all have that, but things have been a little bit stressful. And that's not to say that, negativity or bad things. It's not, don't name that. It just is life. And we hold on. And in honesty, you have to hold on, But there's a time for letting go. And your practice is that time. So that you have an opportunity to set a reset button for yourself. Even if there's struggles, or if it's a joyous time for you in your life. We always need that time to touch home base. And becoming intimate with your practice offers that opportunity. So observe how the exhalation is that releasing of energy that you just don't need right now. Whatever it is. So it can open you up to finding the gratitude in your life. Sometimes you have to work to find gratitude. But now is the time for yoga. Yoga is chitta vritti nirodha. Yoga is stilling the fluctuations in the mind. And that is all those things that we all do all day long. Of naming and categorizing this good, this bad, you know. And that's what keeps us in illusion. Because when those things are gone, we're able to be our true selves. And our true self is able to be in awe of every moment. Take a moment just to get that reset. So that when you move through your day tonight and then tomorrow, you can begin to see that magic is all around, even in the mundane things in our lives. It's just perspective. It's just how you look at things. And yoga is in the now. Yoga is right now, every now. And every now is the time to make the effort to smile or to appreciate what we have. So now go ahead and begin to bend your knees and turn yourself onto the right hand side. Use your hands to press the floor away. And gently bring yourself all the way back up to sitting. And that's all for this evening. Namaste.